Today's episode is sponsored by a jewelry brand that I've been loving lately called GG Collective. They're a Canadian woman-owned brand started by two Saskatchewan sisters, which obviously I already love supporting. But the real reason I'm obsessed is their jewelry is waterproof and tarnish free. And honestly, that matters the most for me because I am way too lazy to take my jewelry off every time I shower. I will never remember to put it back on. Wash my hands, not going to put it back on. Go to the gym, not going to put it back on. Or jump in the lake with my kids. I just want to put it on and I want to forget about it because if I take it off, I'm not putting it back on. That's exactly what GG Collective is made for. Their pieces are 18 karat gold, plated, hypoallergenic, important, and designed for everyday life, not just the special occasions. So whether you're running errands, heading to work, or doing the chaos of mom life and just wanting to look a little bit elevated, your jewelry still looks cute. They've got gorgeous hoops, layered necklaces, and simple pieces you can stack and wear daily. If you want jewelry that actually keeps up with real life, go check them out at GG Collective. So it's GIGI Collective.ca or on Instagram at gg.collective. Promise you, you won't regret it. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Lives of Saskwives. This week's episode has a very special guest. Yeah, it's fine. You can leave him off. She is the queen of interrupting. She loves unicorns and birthday cake. And she is the sweetest sister to her little brother. And she's my favorite girl in the whole entire world. Everyone, please welcome Grace Corey Lewis. Hi, Grace.
Hi.
How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm new. I'm Spell Kit.
Okay, remember you have to say things that are real. You can't just make up words because everybody doesn't know your words.
Any kind of things do you know? And I'm special and new.
This is what you all want. Just remember that. Can you tell everyone what your favorite color is?
Purple and any color. No, pink, green, and purple.
Pink, green, and purple. Which one's your favorite out of pink, green, and purple? If you had to pick one.
3 and all. And I'm calling you Spell Kit.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to do with Daddy?
Any kind of things
Put your microphone closer, babe.
you don't know.
What do you like to do with Daddy?
I want to be done.
What? That's it?
Uh-huh.
That's all we're going to get from you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Can you say bye to the listeners?
Bye.
Can you say thanks for having your morning coffee or your evening wine?
Think we're having my morning coffee.
Hey, you got to talk in the microphone. Here, talk in this one.
La,
Say
bye.
Thanks for having your morning coffee
Think we're having your morning coffee.
or your evening wine.
And your evening wine.
Catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one, please.
Love ya. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Real Lives of Saskwives. It's just little old me today, which I feel like we haven't done in many, many moons. I can't even remember. Was it January? My last, and we're already in April, people. Time is flying. I can't believe I've been doing this for November, December, January, February, March. 5 months. Pretty cool. Thought I would just hop on here alone today simply because one, it had been so long, and two, I feel like I just got like a little lost in the sauce. I kind of enjoy doing a solo episode now and again. I don't know if people are into that, but it is my podcast, so I get to choose what I want to do. But lots to catch up on, lots to discuss. I am back to work. I've been back to work for a month now. Yeah, when this comes out, it'll be a month. And it's been a very bittersweet transition. When I initially started my kids in daycare, I had them go, well, Grace was going always for about once a week. And then in January, I sent her for twice a week just to kind of get her in the groove a bit. And then I sent them full tilt the like second week of February, third week of February, just to get them used to what daycare was going to be like and maybe get that like first little illness out of the way. And it worked because Harvey got sick, but holy, I had like a really hard time emotionally with that. And I reflected kind of why it felt so much harder this time. And I think because when I sent Grace to daycare for the first time, I think I sent her for a couple days before I went back to work. And that was good. But I also hadn't been in motherhood for very long. It had literally only been a year of being a mom. So when I dropped her off, I still very much missed her, but I also still felt like I had that easy shift back into doing things just me and feeling like I could easily fill my day with things that just Jordhan wanted to do. Whereas now it's been 4 full years of motherhood that when I didn't have either of my kids at home and I just had to fill my days, I felt one, really guilty, and two, really sad. And I would literally mope around kind of for the entire morning. For the first couple days, I just cried all morning, just like mourning the loss of maternity leave being over and that chapter of our life being done. And like it still even makes me feel emotional in this moment that it's over. But I don't know, like I don't ever look at it as, even if I had 5 kids, I think I would still feel the way that I'm feeling now that a chapter is closing, because people have said to me like, you could always have another one. And I don't think it's that I want to have another child. It's just that, yeah, like a chapter is closing and it was like such a sweet time. And bless my husband's heart, he just said like one thing that threw me over the edge, and it's like still making me cry to this day. Because I said, like age 3, reflecting back on it, was really hard for me. And I just wonder if because when Harvey turns 3, I won't be postpartum, if I will find that age as hard with my second. And Jim said, well, Harvey's not going to be at home for that whole year when he's 3. And oh my God, I'm going to cry right now, even just thinking that. And I was like, how dare you say that and even put that on my radar? I never even thought of that, to just know that like I'll never be home every single day with my kids for an entire year ever again. And like, bless my career, I will always have summer with them. So going back to work, like, yeah, was really sad, but also I only have like 2 months until it's me and them again. And it's the best time of the year to be together. So yeah, those first 2 weeks of daycare were literal hell on earth for me. I cried a lot. By the time I'd finally like get my act together, daycare would text me and say, oh, the kids are up from their nap. You can come grab them whenever. So I didn't get much accomplished. I tried to stay busy, but I just kept crying in stores and in front of friends. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay in my house, paint something, and live in my sorrow. And so I was really nervous to go back to work. And so for a little information, I decided to go back only part-time. And so when you're in the teaching field, when they're save your spot for maternity leave, they don't save you any type of percentage of a job. They save your full-time 100% position. And so because I decided to come back as half-time in the middle of the school year, I actually had to switch schools. And for some reason, I didn't like really realize that until it was like the first day. But so anyways, I was really nervous about going back to work. 1, I'm in a new school. 2, my kids are going to daycare. 3, I don't really understand my new role because I'm not in the classroom anymore. I'm a learning assistant teacher, just temporarily. But actually dropping them off feels so much easier when work is where you have to go and there's no option. Whereas I think when I was dropping them off and I was just sitting at home trying to get them used to it. I felt so much guilt that I was in our house, but when I dropped them off, it was like, okay, I got to go to work. Like, this has got to be fast. I don't have time to think about it because now I have to put myself into a new mode of a new job. And so that was okay. I think I cried like a little bit on my first drive to work, but not for the reason you'd think. So to backtrack, I had like a really strong, obviously we know my work wife Alicia, and then we also were a part of like a group. And so in the school I was at, there was like 700 kids, so it's a really big school, and kind of like your wing of the school was your grade alike. So I was in a hallway where it was just grade 5 and grade 6 teachers, so already you have something in common where you enjoy teaching kind of the same age range. And so it was like lightning in a bottle in our hallway the year that I was pregnant with Harvey. There were just so many personalities that we all just connected so well. And we had a group chat and we got together once a month to go for wings. And we kind of continued seeing each other just a little bit through my mat leave. But when you leave to go on maternity leave, it maybe doesn't feel as like real that you're not going back, because I was at my house, I was in the comfort of my home. I didn't feel a huge shift other than like from going to work to not going to work. Whereas all of my friends at work, they got used to me not being around. And so when it was my first day back to work, I literally cried in my car on the way to my new school because I realized, and I'm going to even cry right now, like talking about it, I wasn't going to see my friends. And it really, honest to goodness, did not hit me until I was driving to work that first morning. And I even said to Jim, like, I can't believe I had a meltdown. And he said, I can't believe it took you until your first day of work for you to realize that you weren't going to be working with your friends anymore. But yeah, when I went on maternity leave, I didn't feel sad. I think because I was still seeing them like a little bit. But yeah, it was just like it's been such a weird shift, but I am so grateful. The school I'm at now, it's very different demographic than what I'm used to, but the staff is unreal. I share an office with someone who is around my age. She has kids around my kids' age. We watch all the same TV shows. We have mutual people in common. I couldn't have asked for a better return to work in a brand new environment. I really love the admin that I work with. I really love the team. The role I'm doing is new, but it's like such a nice gradual type of role to come back to. And yeah, like nothing but great things to say about the new school I'm at. But because I'm just filling in for a temporary position, I again will probably switch schools in the fall. So that's kind of crazy to like have so many changes within. But I also am really proud of myself for adapting so quickly, because typically change really freaks me out and I get really worked up. But I didn't get super worked up this time. I just got sad on the way to work. So that's kind of where things are at with work. The halftime gig, so good, like loving. I work every morning, so I get off around noon. I go to the gym if that's on my schedule for the day. I'll just quickly hit that up, and then I come home. I can't get to daycare in time to pick them up before they nap, so that's kind of, as much as I would love to just grab them and let them nap at home, it's kind of nice that I just have like 1 or 2 hours to get something done. So yeah, I'll go work out, I'll grab groceries, I'll like have an appointment if I need to have one, I'll run an errand or two, clean the house, get supper kind of running, and then as soon as daycare texts me that they're awake, I go and I pick them up. So I'm a little sad because when you think halftime, I think of like a school day is 6 hours, right? So I think like, oh, my kids will be in daycare for 3 or 4 hours. No, they're in there for like a solid 7 most of the time, which obviously not what I wanted when I thought part-time, but I think it's been really good for my mental health too. And I know we treat daycare differently now, I think, as a society, just based on like, I remember, and maybe it was different for different families, but I remember like you didn't send your kids to daycare unless you absolutely needed to send them because you couldn't be with them. And I think now people are reflecting that they maybe need a little bit of time, if they get some time in the week, to take it literally for themselves and still continue to send their child to daycare, which I think is totally cool and great that we're prioritizing our mental health. But one thing I did want to discuss is I did get to go on a girls' trip just this past weekend. I got to go visit one of my best friends in Montreal, and it was so wonderful to just get away. I had a little bit of like a mental trouble of just convincing myself that it was okay to leave. I think because I was just having such a hard time with like, I was literally with my kids 100% of the time. And then once I started work again, I was with them like 80% of the day, or sorry, only like 25% of the day. And then when you go away on a trip, you even get even less time with them. So mentally, I was just having a really tough time. And bless Jim's heart, he said to me, like, you have to look at it now that we are in a phase where our kids are going to start building relationships outside of just their mom 24/7. So he said, like, I'm super stoked that I get to have this one-on-one time with them because I never get that. You're always around. They're always choosing you over me. And I like that I'm building that relationship with them, whether they like it or not. So they had such a fun weekend with their dad. But of course, he did a pretty good job, I will say. Like, I walked in and I was like, it's like a teeny tiny bit of a disaster, but nothing crazy. He did a pretty good job of taking initiative. He planned the meals for the week. He got the groceries with the kids. Like, I don't know. Am I applauding a fish for swimming? No, no, I'm not. But I am just proud of him that he did that without like me having to say anything. But let me tell you, when you're gone for a few days, I'm sure so many people can relate to this. Why is it that the mental load of what we have to do in a day does not get taken care of when we're gone, unless a list is left? I don't feel like I should have to leave my husband a list, nor do I think he would appreciate if I left him a list. Comes across as a bit naggy. I don't know. Maybe I have to change my mind frame, and so does he. But I just, for the entire week that I was back, I just had to do so much around the house, and it's tedious work. Like, I realized, oh, Harvey has no more socks and no more bibs for his drool. Okay, I got to do his laundry. I got to do Grace's laundry. Why does folding children's laundry take so long? Is it because their clothes are so tiny? There's so many of them. Their laundry just takes me forever. And then getting it all put away. And bless his heart, like I said, he planned the menu for the week, but there was not a lot of strategy involved. And if you're a person who's type A and you strategize your menu, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm thinking around the fact of, okay, Monday night has to be something easy because Grace has skating. So we have to make sure that it's something that one person can pull together and doesn't have to entertain two kids and can have it ready by 5 o'clock so that she's out the door. Okay. Things like that. Or example, oh, our cleaning lady's going to be here on Wednesday, so probably won't be able to cook something too intense in the kitchen because she usually cleans our house till 5:30. We were going to a concert on one of the nights, and he wrote concert. I'm like, well, the kids aren't going to the concert and we're getting a babysitter, so what are they going to eat? Just little things like that where there's so much more to a job than just like planning the meals for the week. And whatever, we figured it out. But also, I'm so psycho of like, if there's not a plan, it's really hard for me to just throw something healthy-ish together because I'm very strategic with how I buy my groceries. I don't have a lot of just like random things in my freezer, in my fridge to just throw a meal together. And I am a little bit jealous of those type B people because that would be so nice to have that type of a fridge. But mine is very much like, okay, we're having XYZ this week. I'm buying XYZ. I don't buy extras other than like snacks and breakfast. I guess I buy like kind of random things here and there. I guess we could have breakfast for supper, couldn't we? That's maybe something I could do. But so anyways, appreciate that the meals, but we ended up eating out so much because it was like, oh, well, this night we need to do this instead of that. And this night we don't have time. And this night, whatever. So appreciate the help. What the heck else did I have to do? I just felt like my whole week, I had so much to do and so little time to complete it. And when I am in a mind frame like that, I am not pleasant to be around. And not that I've been resentful to Jim, but I just can't even look him in the eyes. I think because it's honestly a little bit of jealousy of just like, what a luxury it is for you that you aren't plagued by the 700 million tasks around our house that pile up when you are at work. You don't even notice because it just gets done. And maybe we need to like distribute the tasks a little differently. But now in my mind, I'm like justifying it as I only work part-time. So I do have that time in the afternoon And is that my role, is to maintain the house? I guess maybe technically, but man, can kids make a mess in a hurry. Like, I went into my bathroom when I came home from my trip, and my kids, for whatever reason, love to pull all of my stuff out of the bathroom, all my perfumes, all my hair products, whatever, Q-tips everywhere. Couldn't find my tallow from Glow Co, whatever it's called. What is it? Tallow Glow Co. Couldn't find it anywhere. And I just, yeah, whatever. It's all good. But I was just an absolute grump. So sometimes I like reflect on those trips and I'm like, yes, that was amazing, but was it worth it for my mental health when I come back? And I've had that same reflection on going on trips and drinking alcohol. And I've come to learn that like it's not worth it for me to drink because I just take so many days to get back into it. But then I'm realizing, well, even I didn't drink. I think I had one glass of wine my entire trip in Montreal. And I'm still like, I still feel plagued by being away. So maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe you can just do whatever I want on a trip and suffer the consequences no matter which way I go. But yeah, lovely to go. We did a little spa. We did lots of dinners. It was like a wellness retreat. We worked out. Yeah, it was great. It was so good for my mental health. I really missed my kids by about night, I don't know. And I told myself like, okay, don't worry about it. You know, like you get to see your kids tomorrow. I had a really early flight on the Sunday and I was going to be home by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was going to get the whole afternoon with them. No big deal. Sat on the tarmac on the plane for 3 hours waiting to go. And then I ended up missing my connecting flight, which in the moment I was like really freaked out, really upset. But then I reminded myself, traveling without kids, it doesn't even count as traveling. If you put kids in that scenario, oh my gosh, I could only imagine the stress I would feel and how, yeah, no, it was a holiday in itself to just be without kids. But so when I got to Toronto, my flight was gone and I missed my connector. So they rescheduled me for the next day at the same time. So like a 12 o'clock flight and put me up in a hotel and I lost it in the airport. I was crying in customer service line. Just, I think because I had been telling myself, you know what, you just have one more night and then you get to see your kids. Like you just got to hold it together. It's all good. And then to know that I wasn't going to get to see my kids was just so hard on my heart. And especially being that I'm like back to work, haven't been spending as much time with them as I usually do, you know, all of the emotions just came out. And so when I got up to the customer service line, I think the customer service representative felt so bad for me. He was like, would you be open to going on a different airline? We could get you home today, but your flight wouldn't be until 10 p.m. And mind you, it's like 11 a.m. in Toronto. I said, I don't care. I'm just happy to get home tonight. He said, here you go. Here's a ticket. And I guess everyone else that I was talking to that was at Toronto, they were all getting pushed to the next day or like flying all across the country. So I got really lucky that I actually got pushed to a different flight. But yeah, so I sat in the airport for like forever, which whatever. I got all my administrative stuff done, like literally work and podcast stuff. So it worked out for the best. But yeah, I didn't get home till like 2 a.m. So then that set the week off on a negative note too of like, I'm so tired. I got to catch up on sleep. Yeah, whatever. Okay, woe is me. Smallest violin. Poor Jordan had to travel. I've never had that happen before though in my traveling of like missing connectors, spending 12 hours straight in the airport. So it was obviously my turn, which whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's that on trips and your husband not having to do anything while you're away except keep the kids alive. What a blessing. I always say like in my next life, I for sure would like to come back as a dad. I think that is the play. 100%. Mental load? What mental load? I guess maybe they're like the mental load of working and providing for the home. Like, okay, trade. Let's trade for a week. I just want to try it. Because I still feel like I have to work. I don't know. Maybe they're gaslighting us. Also, I'm super ready for spring. I feel like we've had about our 8 false starts. I'm over the winter jackets. I feel like I need to buy, like poor Harvey. He is just busting out of his little car seat winter jacket. But it's one of those things where I know as soon as I buy one that fits him, it's going to get nice out and then it's not going to fit him. So part of me is like, should I just take one for the team and order this jacket so that spring will finally arrive for us. But like, that's a pricey jacket, you know? But man, I just every morning when I'm buckling those kids into the car and I'm freezing my little butt off while they're sitting in the vehicle, thrashing around, refusing to put their seatbelt or their car seat belts on, I just think to myself, this will be so much easier when I don't have to worry about these stupid winter jackets. And what a luxury to be a mother in the 90s. And maybe that's like dumb to say because terrible things happen, but like to not have to worry about these special jackets for the car seat. Like, I'm sorry, I have very nice snowsuits for my kids, like one pieces, because I'm a psycho of like, they're outside a lot at daycare, so I have to justify like buying things that are good quality because they're literally outside twice a day for like extended they'll play, as long as they'll play outside, they go outside. So I always justify, okay, I'm gonna get something that's like good quality up to minus 25 is what you need. But then also, you can't put them in a snowsuit in the car seat. So you have to buy this additional jacket that's made for minus 25. That's $100 a jacket. And you justify it that, well, you don't want your kids to be cold. Like, the financial investment, and not, the car seats are expensive. Inflation is killing me. I can't even remember what I paid for Grace's. Like, I think it was a 4-in-1 because 3-in-1s were more expensive, but maybe $300. And I could barely find anything under $4. And I wanted the same brand, of course, so that they look good in my car. So insane the amount of money we pay. Obviously, it's worth it. Keep them safe, all of those things. But like, holy Hannah, I am just done with the winter jackets. I cannot wait to just throw them in a little sweater, throw them in the back seat, clip that thing in real fast, rip the bottom and just tighten it up, and away we go, because it's taking years off my life. I saw something like a long time ago and it said, California girls are so pretty because they don't ever have to scrape off their windshield. And I think of that often when I am plugging those kids into those car seats, where I'm like, I am so old and decrepit looking because I have to go through this garbage weather and put these kids into these car seats every freaking day. And then I got to scrape the windshield. Like, oh, it just... And same with that let them theory. I talked about this on my Instagram story at one point, but there's like that whole, if it takes them forever, you have to let them do it themselves. So putting on their shoes, you know, like, don't rush them into it. Don't do it if they are capable. Always let them do it. Those people did not raise kids in Saskatchewan, because if I have to let my daughter put those seatbelt buckles on one more time while I'm standing there shivering in the cold, if I have to let her put those shoes on as slow as possible, or put those mittens on while I'm just standing there shaking, and I am dressed appropriately for the weather, okay? I have a super long super puff. I have big old boots on. I have a toque. I have my mitts. So don't even come at me and say, well, maybe you should be dressed properly. No, I am. And I'm still cold because I'm literally standing there waiting. So those let them people, come do it in Saskatchewan and tell me if you still want to let them all the time, okay? Come experience our winter. Come hang out in minus 40 and you let your little cutie pie tie her shoes up all by herself. Get out of my life. Can you tell I'm fired up today? Oh my goodness. Ooh, can we talk Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? I feel like I talked about it was coming out soon, back in like January, and now here we are, and it is a gong show. I've reflected a lot on this show and I love it. I was chatting with my friends when I was in Montreal and they're like, oh, we don't watch it. Like, it's just so funny the different phases of life we're in, where they're like single girls buying themselves really lovely things out on the town, lots of social things going on. And they're like, oh, I don't have time for reality TV. I'm not into it, whatever. I'm like, these girls on Secret Lives are my very best friends, okay? When those kids go to bed, me, Macy, Whitney, Taylor, Frankie, Paul, and Jesse, we all get together and we gab. And I just am so invested in all of the drama because they are my little friends. Every night when I'm all by myself, eating my popcorn, watching these girls, I'm like sad that The Bachelorette is canceled because I was really looking forward to having something to watch on Sundays. I understand why it was canceled. I said this to my sister, like I have a lot of empathy for Taylor Frankie Paul, and I think because I was in, and they're not comparable in any sense of the word, don't get me wrong. I was in a relationship that was very toxic, and I like to think of myself as a pretty, maybe dramatic is a good word to describe me, but like pretty level headed for the most part. And because the person that I was in a relationship was very up and down and up and down, and I stayed in it for much longer than I should have, I started to ride that roller coaster and lose all inhibition of my emotions, and decision making and logic was like gone. So I do have a lot of empathy for her. I think maybe she is a little bit nutty herself, but I also reflect back, like people probably said that about me when I was in my toxic situation. Like just the thing they can do to your brain, I just can't even describe it. And if you've never experienced it, I'm so happy for you, because it is such a mind-boggling experience of like you just know you're being insane, but there's no way to fix it because they just have such a hold on your emotions and how you react to things. Like they just know how to get in there and get a reaction out of you. And so I do empathize with her because I'm sure she's been like pushed to limits, and maybe she's is a little bit crazy, but like I'm sure she's acting a lot crazier than she should. But then also I don't have a lot of empathy because I'm like, you're still going back to him and like there are kids involved, you know? And so that's just where it gets a little bit messy. But yeah, I don't know. That whole thing, I do think Dakota is a lot crazier than he comes across. Like I think he's probably very toxic and manipulative behind closed doors. And he keeps saying to her, like, I want to be with you. But it's like, but you don't change anything. I don't know, whatever. They're my closest best friends. So I obviously have an opinion that is important and should be heard. But yeah, insane how it's like taken over everything. I'm glad I'm all caught up on everything. What was like the most recent thing that's come out? It's kind of quieted down in the last few days slash week since all that news broke, but I'm sure we'll find her season on the dark web somewhere. I don't know if I'll watch it. Like, is there a point? We know she doesn't end up with him, but like we've all watched other seasons of it too and haven't cared that she didn't end up with him. Yeah. I also wanted to talk about my I've been having a time with my fitness health journey. So I'm sure many of you are in the same boat where we're like, okay, it's March, like summer's coming soon. We got to get ourselves into a place that like our shorts will fit again. If they don't, that's okay. We're adults now. We can buy new shorts, but it's always nice to feel good, I think, when we're wearing less clothes because of the weather. But I just cannot get my brain in like health mode. I have just been eating like Little Miss Piggy for, I don't know, 2 weeks. I've still been working out. I don't know. It gets to be the evening time and I'm like, I can't hold myself back any longer. I think I've ate out more than I have in the last like 6 months total in the last 2 weeks. Like I just simply cannot get it together. Maybe Mercury is in like retrograde or something, but sometimes I feel like the stress of knowing that something's coming up almost like backfires on me, and I get so stressed that I like stress eat. And not that we need to be in a diet all the time, but I think like making healthy choices and your clothes fitting nicely is always a good feeling. So if anyone else is in that boat, like let's stand in solidarity together. What's wrong? There's got to be an explanation for this. Why are we so hungry? Maybe we just need to drink more water. But even tonight, I was like, oh, I'll probably record my podcast tonight so that I'm not snacking. But even as I'm talking about this, I'm like, there's some Nerd Gummy clusters and some Sour Patch Kid up in that cabinet just right over there. I could probably just grab a few once I'm done recording. Ugh, the toxic cycle of trying to stay fit. It's just, it's tough. I had someone say to me, And I thought, oh, I wish. They said, oh, it must have been so easy for all of that weight to come off after you had your kids. And I'm like, no. I just stopped them. I said, no, I just am very disciplined and I had to be very careful. And it took me almost an entire year to get my body back to where I had to be, but I sacrificed a lot for a long time. I just went into hermit mode and I got myself back to a place that my goal is always like, I want to be able to fit my work clothes before I go back to work so that I don't have to buy anything new. Or if I do buy something new, it's just simply like to update my wardrobe. And if you were someone who didn't do that, like no shade at all, I'm a frugal freak. Okay. I can't justify spending money. I'm like almost laughing because Jim, if he listens to this, he's going to be like, who do you think you are? Like, girl, you've been spending money like it's going out of style. But typically I'm a very frugal girly where I don't buy a lot of clothes. I don't buy a lot of shoes. I have kind of like my staples and I just rotate through those and they're very neutral colored. And so when I'm going back to work, obviously I don't want to have to go buy a new wardrobe. I think simply because I don't enjoy shopping. I am like an anomaly in my family when it comes to my mom and my sister. They are browsers. Those girls could spend hours and hours and hours shopping. Me, myself, don't enjoy it. When I go into a store, I'm getting one or two things that I need and I'm getting out. I am not looking around. If I look around, it's like 5 minutes tops. But here's my logic. When I go into a store, a clothing store more specifically, I can't envision what these things look like or what to pair it with unless I have a visual. So if I can online shop, I can see, oh, I like how that model is wearing that shirt with those pants. I literally have gone on Lululemon before and bought a sweater with shorts because I'm like, oh, that's what you would pair that sweater with to go with shorts. Perfect. And I just bought both. Like, unless it's on the mannequin, I'm not getting a visual of how to style it. I'm not a stylish person. Hence why I like copy now the girls at work. I'm like, hey, I like your outfit today. Okay, I'm going to try to do that tomorrow with what I have in my closet. Like I'm just not good at it. So I don't like to browse ever. Costco, my husband loves to browse. That's one of his favorite weekend activities. Psychopathic behavior, the busiest time at Costco. And he wants to go down every freaking aisle. I can't. I have a purpose. I need to get in, get out. No thanks. Oh, I wished I was more of a browser, but I am simply not. Okay, so I have to tell you something fun that I've been trying because the nice weather just isn't coming. So if you don't know me super well, I am obsessed with being tan. And that used to be when Jim and I first started dating, that was like the best compliment you could give me. If you said, oh, you're looking so thin or you're looking so tanned, just like music to my ears, pumped my tires in a way that you wouldn't understand. But I can never really like justify getting a spray tan all of the time. So anyways, in my like holistic journey of trying to stay non-tox-ish, because of my cancer, I'm just trying to make like better decisions for not only me, but for my family. I came across Rad Collective. And if you listen to my previous episodes, they were a sponsor of an episode, but I got some tanning lotion, sunless tanning lotion, and a face water. I should just go and get them. I'm going to go get them so I can show you them and I can actually like read to you what it is. Wow, the magic of podcasting. That was magical. I just left and here it is. Okay, so I got their like bestseller package. So I got the Sun Drenched Gradual Tanning Lotion. And so you just put this beautiful stuff on after you are showered and dry. And I got the medium dark. So I used it one time. Now keep in mind, okay, I have not used a self tanner since I was literally 12 years old. So no one taught me how to do it. My mom like very much was not into the realm of like beauty products and stuff because she didn't need to be. My mom is like so naturally gorgeous that whatever, we just don't wear a lot of makeup. She didn't put an emphasis on that, which I'm really appreciative of because I'm good with my natural beauty. But so I never got a lesson on self tanner simply because I don't think she used it either and didn't know how to give me a lesson. So anyways, First time I used this wasn't the smartest, so forgot to rinse my hands and had some orange creases in my fingers, which no big deal. I just exfoliated and got it off. But no, actually, I did this one time with the medium dark, and it says you can do it like every day until you get your desired color. So maybe if I went with like the light medium, I could wear it, like I could keep using it like every single day and it would just build the tan. But I used it one time and I was like, who is this gorgeous tanned skinny little lady? Okay, obsessed. It works so good. I used it again for the second time today and I realized like be careful around my armpits. Where else? My neck. Make sure, like you just miss things that you don't really think about the first time. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that white spot there. But yeah, love, obsessed. It actually smells so good. It doesn't smell like a self tanner. What's the scent? It says on here somewhere. Oh, sweet citrus and vanilla. Actually just smells like a really yummy lotion. And then I also got the Sunbeams face tan water and I got that in the medium dark too. And this stuff is fun because you literally just spray it on your face and spray it on your neck, let it air dry, then you wake up the next morning and you're tanned, your face and your neck. It's unreal. So I did both. I did the lotion all over my body and like up to about here, like up to my jaw, and then I did the face tan water and I just sprayed a little on my neck as well just to make sure it's even, and obsessed with it. Okay, and it's like all natural, which is unreal. I literally understand just about every single ingredient that's in it. But anyway, so shout out Rad Collective, RAAD. Highly recommend. Use it if you're just wanting to feel like a little bit glowy and sun-kissed before that sun actually comes out and we can get those UVs in us. Like, let me tell you, I'm obsessed. I have the UV index on my like wallpaper so that I can see what it is because I love to lay in the sun every single day. Yes, I wear my sunscreen. I know it's not good for me. I'm probably going to have wrinkles, but I'm obsessed. I just think like being tan just like elevates and makes me feel so gorge. And nothing wrong with that. Fair skin. My kids are the gingeriest gingers you'll ever meet. My husband is like so fair skinned. And let me tell you, does it make me feel even more elite? Every time I'm with my family, people are like, wow, you're looking so tan. This is like sun lotion or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's just because my kids and my husband are so white. They just make me look so gorgeous all the time. They're the best accessory. Oh boy. Okay. I had something I wanted to quickly talk about having boys, having little boys. So I want to know if people feel this way or if I'm just like weirdly obsessed with my son. But with my daughter, I don't like typically show my kids' faces on social media. And that's just been kind of like a personal choice that I made ever since I got pregnant with Grace. I have a bit of stranger danger and I'm scared of everything. In case you didn't know, like I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of, what else am I scared of? People walking up behind me on the stairs or like chasing me. I just like crumple to the ground. I can't run. I'm scared of being home alone, just like all the typical things. I'm scared of being kidnapped. And so I just made like a really conscious decision, and so did Jim, that I wasn't going to show my kids' faces. And I maybe have like a handful of times and regretted it every time. But I just have made that choice, and I don't know if I will ever show their faces. But so anyways, all that being said, my daughter looks exactly like me. Okay. She came out of my womb and I was like, hello, twin. I've seen pictures of you before. And like insanely so. The only thing I would say she has of Jim's is his eye color. He has like really bright blue eyes and I have like quite dark blue eyes, and his skin tone. So, and his hair. So like I don't have naturally blonde hair. My hair is like quite brown actually. And, she's very fair, and Jim is very fair as well, to the point where I would call him a ginger, but he would be so mad because he says he's a strawberry blonde and that doesn't qualify as a ginger. Whatever. That's a whole nother. I should have asked him that on his episode. But so she's always looked like me. I've seen a few times her expression has been like, whoa, you are so your dad, but not very often. Whereas Harvey, I just look at him and I see Jim. And like, even today, he gave me this look when Jim wasn't here. And I was like, oh my God, you are like Jim as a kid. And so, like, it's been so cool to, I almost feel like I'm getting to experience my husband as a baby. And so I would say like Grace's energy, my mom would say we're like pretty similar, but I was not as busy as Grace. Like, she's physically very advanced. So even daycare, they're like, she's so naturally athletic. And Jim and I are both like, don't know who she gets that from, because neither of us are naturally athletic. But very high energy, very much the boss, which is how I was as a kid, but I wasn't as high energy as she is. But Harvey is just like so laid back, so easy, just happy all the time. And that's very much my husband, and how his mom and his sisters described his demeanor as a kid. And so I literally feel like I get to experience Jim as a kid, and it literally makes me love him so much more. It's like a feeling I can't even really describe, of like, yeah, just I love him so much, obviously, as an adult, and I love our kids so much, but it's like, wow, I love you even more now, understanding like what a sweet, sensitive, kind, content little boy you were. It's just, yeah, it's like the weirdest experience. And like, I very much love my daughter in the sense that I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so me, except for the high energy. I'm like, mom doesn't have the energy to do that today, Grace. Like, we're just going to have to play a game where we're sitting for a while, please. Oh, please. But when she bosses me around, I'm like, Kate, quit bossing me around. And all my family just like shakes their head and laughs, because they're like, you are just getting exactly what you deserve, because you were the exact same way. I'm still bossy. So maybe that's why I have such a hard time with it, because I'm like, no, I'm the boss. I get to be the boss now for reals. No one can tell me no anymore. I want to talk about one more thing before I sign off. I want to talk about kids' birthday parties. I want to talk about the stress of having kids born in March and April and having birthday parties. Does this get easier as they get older? Like, I'm at that point where for Harvey's first birthday, we kept it super chill. We had just my brother over. I literally invited him and his family over literally the day before. It was like, we're just going to have cake and I'll make something for supper. I can't even remember what I made. Pulled pork. It was so easy. We didn't invite grandparents. Didn't make a whole deal of it. Simply because Grace's first birthday, she was so freaking sick. I canceled the whole thing. Everyone was going to come to her party. Like her aunt, her uncle, her grandma and grandpa on one side, her grandma and grandpa on the other side, like literally the whole shebang. And I had to cancel last minute because she was sick. And so then her second birthday, we were going to have all family again. And then my family was sick. So I was just like a little bit scarred from birthday parties. Her third birthday, I kind of went pretty big because Harvey had just been born. So I like rented a hotel pool. She had a couple friends. I invited all our family, whatever. And that was kind of a big deal, but it was good. It was out of the house. But so for Harvey's birthday, I kept it really chill, thinking that he was going to be sick. He wasn't, but that's okay. He doesn't remember anyway. He got his cake. I love making my kids' birthday cakes. I tried like ordering for Grace's first couple birthdays, and I was like, these cakes suck, paying $60 for it to be aesthetic, and then it doesn't even taste good. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna start making them. And so I made Grace's last year, I made Harvey's, whatever. So that was good. But now this 4-year-old, okay, we're in this phase of like, how much am I willing to spend on a birthday party? One, I don't want to host at this point yet, because I don't want to have the kids that I'm inviting, but then also their entire families in my home. I don't want to have to host multiple families in my home, stress about the cleanliness because I'm a clean freak, says Jim Lewis. I don't want to have to worry about how I present my house for my child's birthday. If just the kids were coming to my house and being dropped at the door, I would have no problem having the birthday party, because I'm a teacher. I could have 700 different crafts and fun activities. Like once she gets to that age, we're laughing. But at this point, I'm like, I'm not having it in my house. Okay. But in April, it's not nice enough yet to meet at the park and do something like that. So I'm in this weird phase of like, how much money am I willing to spend on a birthday party? Because I have to not only pay for the kids that I'm inviting, but for their families too. And then I also have to feed those families because we're all in this phase of like reproducing at the same time. So lots of my friends, we all have multiple kids. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to invite Grace's one friend, well, should make sure that friend's siblings are invited and the parents are coming because, right? Like we're just in that space. But then like you go anywhere, you go to an indoor playground, or I'm trying to think of what else I looked into, swimming or whatever. And it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, what 4-year-old needs me to drop $400 for one day for a birthday party? Like, is that not insane? Or am I being a frugal cheapo? I don't know. It's so like you people who have kids with summer birthdays, you don't know how easy you have it off the start. A little barbecue and like rent a bouncy castle in your backyard, or like literally meet at the park and order some pizza. That's all kids want, is to be together. And I understand that, but I just don't want to do that at my house yet because I don't want to facilitate 700 different people. I don't know. Am I overthinking it? Me and my coworker were talking about it because our daughters are both born in April. And she's like, literally, I have to drop so much money on her birthday parties because where do you go in April that doesn't cost money? If you have an idea, tell me. But like, I just think back to, I loved my birthday parties. My mom let me have them at my house all the time, but I was older where just the friends got dropped off and stayed for the party. So like, how old are they when you do that? Can you do that at 5? Probably 5, right? So I only have to do this for one more year. Maybe I should just do a big old blowout since it's like the last year. I really got to put forth a lot of money, honey. But my mom always told me she had this really good rule, and I thought I'm going to continue that on, is whatever age they're turning, that's how many friends they get to invite. So she's turning 4 this year. She gets to have 4 friends. And I kind of kept it to that, keeping it small because her birthday is like, I think is it the next week after this episode comes out? Yeah. So I'll keep you posted on what I end up doing. I might like break a few rules, which I can't tell you till after in case I get caught. But yeah, birthday parties. I don't know. I can't wait until they're just the age where you can just bye, have fun, honey, love you, enjoy the party, pick you up when it's done. Do I sound like a Scrooge, or is this just the reality of parenting, is that there's just a lot to complain about? There's a lot of great parts. Don't get me wrong. So many great parts, but the stresses of like the firstborn, I guess, right? Like maneuvering all these things. Whereas the second one, you're like, oh yeah, okay, well, we'll just do this because this worked and this didn't, or you hear, I don't know. Second one, wow. Such a healing experience thus far in all areas, literally all areas. I remember Grace would like get a fever as a baby and would sleep like 45-minute increments the entire night just simply because she had like a mild fever. Harvey has a mild fever, like knock on wood. Sleeps through the entire night, usually sleeps like 13 hours, just as like, okay, my body is unwell, I'm going to rest. Like, it's insane because I feel that when he starts to get a fever, I start to get some PTSD and I start to panic and get worked up of like, oh no, we're in for like a terrible night, whatever. And then he always like exceeds my expectations on everything. I'm like, oh, they're just not built the same, okay? Or you could be like my brother and it's the opposite. Their firstborn was like an angel sleeper, easy, high energy, but like an easy kid. And their second one, doesn't sleep at all. So I guess it's just a nice surprise that you can't return. No return policy on children if they're not good sleepers or they have something that takes years off your life, like never sleeping when they're sick. Ugh. Yeah, so all in all, I'm really loving being back to work and like having something that I thrive in. I'm Mrs. Lewis. I'm nobody's mom when I'm there. I'm just there to teach and do my job and do what I'm really good at and get paid to do it. You know, like that's a treat. Yeah, life is really good right now. I almost have to pinch myself a lot of the time where I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. I was out with my girlfriends again in Montreal, and it was really nice to be away from my kids and like have a break. But I remember being away and thinking like, I really love my life. Like, I really love that we're doing family activities all the time, that we're appreciating our date nights in such a different way. I'm appreciating my time with my friends in a different way because I know that it's so special and so sparse now. And yeah, I just think like pre-kids, I remember just feeling so lonely all the time and bored. And I told Jim it's like the total opposite now, you know, like I'm so overstimulated all the time. I am never lonely. Never, never, never lonely. Thank goodness. But sometimes I'm like, God, I wish I was just a little bit lonely. I just want to be a little bit lonely and nobody touch me. Uh, yeah. So thanks for catching up with me. Sorry if it was boring because I didn't have a guest, but I have really missed doing this. It's fun to have guests on, but also I sometimes feel like I'm fighting to like show my personality. But maybe you like that. Maybe you like that I take the back burner and I interview. Also, interviewing, what a skill. Learning on the fly, obviously, because we all know I just like picked up my phone one day and started this. But thanks for being patient with me as I'm like navigating, having conversations and interviewing, but then also still trying to like show a bit of my personality and my story in a podcast. I am enjoying what I'm doing. I think I'm going to try really to like take a step back for a little while. This might be like a season finale. I haven't quite decided yet, but whatever comes next is going to feel like super organic and come really naturally to my door of who to have on next, what types of things to talk about, etc. So, yeah, thanks for being here. I'm still having lots of fun. It's definitely been a little bit of a shift to try to get it to your door every week, but I am enjoying like the push of people enjoying it. So, thanks for having your morning coffee or your evening wine. Catch you on the next one. Love ya. Bye.